Welcome to Jordan Drew, the sports crew. Drew's college athlete spotlight. We're on episode 12, and I want to explain the series a little bit before we get started here. So the plan here is after episode 15, we'll cap it. We'll call it season one of Drew's college athlete spotlight, and we'll resume it in September. So that'll kind of round out season one of Drew's college athlete spotlight. We have three more guests after this guy, Bernie Heuvel, track and field hurdler for Concordia, Wisconsin. So the University of Concordia, Wisconsin. I know there's a lot of Concordia, so I have to emphasize it is Wisconsin's Concordia, right? So Bernie, how you doing today?
I am not doing too bad, Drew. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. And Bernie, your story, it's awesome. That's why you're here right now. Who would have thought Bernie Heuvel, track and field hurdler a few months ago. I know your mother was very shocked, with how this all came about. And it's a great story. So Bernie's here today, and we're going to share this story. So let's get started, Bernie. Back to the basics. So when did you start competing in track? Because your story it gets a little interesting here, right?
Yes, it is a little interesting. So we started off in middle school, 7th and 8th grade, because at the time we couldn't do track in 5th and 6th grade. So 7th and 8th grade is when I started, and I just did hurdles because I was tall, and the hurdles were about, just above the ankle, pretty low. So I really enjoyed that. I broke the middle school record twice, I believe, for Valders while I was there. And then once we got to high school, at the time we couldn't dual sport in baseball and track. So I decided to just do baseball because it's something that I enjoyed a little bit more. Then going into junior year was when you could dual sport to start. At the time, though, I kind of wanted to do track a little bit more. I think I was getting burnt out from baseball. But then, as you know, there wasn't really a season that year, considering COVID and all that stuff. So after that season, I just said, I'll just stick to baseball. And I went out for baseball, and then I came here. So that's the origin story, if you will.
Yeah, Bernie was breaking records in middle school track, was a force to be reckoned with for sure. But Bernie, if we talk, high school, any regrets? Do you regret not going out for track in high school and sticking with baseball, or is that something you're content with how it worked out?
I think I'm kind of content with how it worked out. I think junior year would have been kind of nice to run a little bit. But at the time, I was still kind of out of shape, more or less, from hurdles. I hadn't done it for 2 years. But I think I made the right decision to do baseball just because I got to play with some of like my best friends out there. I still got to run a little bit. I just went out there and stole bases, I guess. That was my job. So, I kind of got to do track a little bit.
Yeah. But yeah, dunking, hurdling, I guess we'll say, because dunking, Bernie Heuvel can dunk. So he is born to be a hurdler. Sadly, we didn't get one in a game, Bernie, but it's okay. Yeah, but with that,
one. I got fouled. I should
you
have
did,
one.
yes. But sports, you played in high school, so you already kind of touched on the baseball. But what else did you play, Bernie?
I played football, and I played with probably the best center that I've ever seen in my life, Drew Skyberg. Couldn't have done it without him. Then we also did basketball, and I couldn't have done that without my best hype man, Drew Skyberg, as well. So those are the two other sports that I played.
Yeah, that would be me, former banana and center. So that was my roles, for winter and fall sports. But hey, talking then, track moments. So I know we don't really have a high school selection to look at for moments, but now middle school and college, do you have a track moment that stands out for you?
I guess the one that stands out the most was probably, I don't have any experiences in college, so I guess I can't pick one, but the first race was kind of cool. But I guess in middle school, I think when I broke the record the second time, it was kind of cool. Again, my memory is kind of bad because I took a lot of hits to the head in high school, but it was still kind of an exciting moment looking back and seeing people getting dusted. So I think that was my favorite moment so far.
Yeah, and rightfully so. A favorite track? Was that Valders track on the Field of Dreams stick out to you, or how's Concordia's track?
Concordia's track, outdoor is really good. They have an indoor one, but they can't have meets on it because I don't think it's big enough. I know my least favorite track is New Holstein's cement track that got redone a while ago, because my very first track meet was there in middle school, and I was in the 4x2 relay, and I took a digger, and I got all cut up, and that did not feel too good. So I hate that track and field. It brings back really bad memories.
I,
But my favorite one's probably the Valor's track. Yeah.
Chilton's the one with the blacktop with the concrete, and that one, yeah, Chilton with the bowl. You're not. They don't even. I believe that track's not even able to be used for meets anymore, if I'm not mistaken. So, memories. When I did track my freshman year in high school, I was actually I did a meet on that track. I don't even know if I can call it a track on that on the blacktop there. So, not ideal, but hey, I want to hear then about, looking back, high school, maybe a middle school track. Was there a teammate or a coach who, really helped you with the basics, starting with hurdles?
I think the biggest benefactor in middle school whenever I ran was Mrs. Burchot, an English teacher from Valders. She kind of introduced me to the sport, and she taught me all the basics, and she really helped me improve and just run faster. I don't think I would have been as good if she wasn't there. I know I was fast, but I wasn't extremely fast. But then she convinced me to use like a block start, and she helped me with like just form. And I think she was a really big role, and she was super enthusiastic about it. She really loved working with kids. So I think overall it'd probably have to be her as the biggest role model in hurdles for me.
Yeah, sounds great. And then a teammate, someone who would push you.
That's a good question. Hurdle wise, I never really had someone to hurdle with, like in middle school, because I think I might have been the only guy who ran hurdles. But right now, I have to say, Jacob Kelm is someone I run with right now. So he is on my floor, and he's a senior this year. He was a really big role. He played a big role in getting me to go out for track this year, and it just so happened that he ran hurdles, and he's helped encourage me. He's helped correct my form. He's always been there just to run next to me and just push me to be a better hurdler. And I think so far he's probably the most important like track hurdle teammate that I've had.
And yeah, let's transition now with the whole college thing. How is it? Because you being a walk-on, right? So that was kind of an interesting, because Division III sports, it really gives you that opportunity. Of course, you can walk on Division Ones, but really the walk-ons in D3. Look, Bernie didn't in high school didn't do track at all, but he was able to walk on. So it's just awesome how sports, you can still participate at the collegiate level through this way. And yeah, let's hear about it, Bernie. So how did this all come about? I know you shouted out your teammate there, but how did let's hear it.
So since the start of the year, I kind of just wanted to be more involved. And at the end of my floor, I live in a place called Chemnitz. We have our RA and his suite of people. So that's Seth, Theo, and Jacob. And Jacob is who I mentioned earlier. All three of those guys are in track. And throughout the year, I'd see them like walk down our hall, going up to practice or the weight room, and they just start talking about track. And eventually I became closer friends with them. And I also became friends with one of the best, probably the best thrower from Concordia, Gideon. And as I became closer friends with them, they all kept pushing me out to try and join track or do something. And after a while, after break, I actually brought my spikes back to Concordia from high school. And then they got kind of hyped up, and then they took me to practice one day, and they just showed me around, and I just watched. And after that, I was kind of like, okay, I might as well try it. What's the worst that could happen? It's a semester, and so far it's been a blast. And I think it's been really nice since it's a D3 school, that I have had the opportunity to walk on and participate. Like I never got pushed away, and they just brought me in. So that was really nice.
So first time back on the block. Any jitters? This isn't middle school anymore. This is college.
You could say that there was a little bit of jitters. There was a lot of jitters, because it just so happened that in the heat that I was running, they had like the three fastest guys at the entire meet, and all of them were they were really, really fast. And I mean, at least it's good competition, but I mean, they were all super nice before the race happened. Everyone's kind of friends there because you're really not racing against other teams. You're kind of racing yourself. And I think that's what's super helpful too. You can't get down on yourself. So I had jitters, but I think once the gun went off, I think they kind of went away and I was just focused on not falling on my face. So
I'm glad you mentioned that. You're racing against yourself, Bernie. That first race in Oshkosh, it's about, for you especially, coming back, having, how long were you practicing? A month maybe before they put you in this meet? Were you even supposed to be in this meet?
I was practicing for about a week and a half.
Yeah.
And then I got tossed in. So
Talk
not
about
optimal condition.
So it's just a lot, for you just getting back into back in the swing of things, especially with the break that you've had in the sport. But certainly things are looking up for you, right? And you can only go up, right, Bernie? I mean, right, you're at the bottom, it seems. So
it is very true. The only place you can go is up.
That's the mindset.
Opinion, you're either going to get over it or you're going to get over it. And that's a little hurdle joke I like to say, but I know it's kind of corny. I'm sorry, but
another classic Bernie joke. Wow. That was something else, Bernie, but let's talk more with the adjustments, right? In training. So yeah, going from middle school to college now, not even like the high school to college that we usually talk about here on the series. The hurdles, how much taller are they? And then distancing, how is it compared to?
So right now for indoor season, we're doing the 60-meter hurdles, and they're 42 inches high, which is like, how is that? Like a little over 3 feet or something like that. So they're a little bit higher than middle school, which is probably like 30 inches, but they're only placed like, I think 10 meters apart or so. But I think once you start running, if you're long, you really don't feel it that much. But the training is kind of similar to how it is in middle school. I think it's a little bit more down packed. Like they have specific drills for like your lead leg, your trail leg, and I think they just take more attention into that stuff. But it's really similar to what I've had in the past. And I think training wise too, like if you go to the weight room, they have like a training program for you. For me, it's like set 3 separate days, so like Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And they're quick workouts, you can get them in, and they're really focused on your specific events. So there's some programs for like hurdlers and sprinters, and there's throwers, ones, long distance workouts. So they're kind of specialized towards what you want to do.
And with you being a hurdler, I'm going to guess we're going to see more explosion based, sure, some cleans maybe. Everyone loves the clean. Yeah,
that's true. Clean, press, I think some squat days in there too, kind of nice. And they're well rounded, so they're most of the time they're full body workouts with an emphasis on like a major part like chest, legs, stuff like that.
I think they should make you front squat. So I might have to talk to your coach to see the hurdler coach to see maybe if we can have that done, because everyone loves a good front squat, right, Bernie? So I'll talk to your hurdle coach. Is it Robert Zahn?
Yeah. If you want us to front squat, I'd be happy to do that. I just would miss the weight room that day for some reason. I'd be sick. So,
yeah. Let's talk. Of course, we got to include some academics, Bernie. How did you end up at Concordia University, Wisconsin?
So the first semester I did with a 4.0. I just scraped by, but it was pretty fun. I enjoy most of the classes I'm in right now. Going to the pre-physical therapy stuff. Nothing was too crazy. I think this semester is a little bit trickier because there's some online classes I have to take. But overall, I think it's going pretty well. It's going as well as I could hope now that I'm juggling a sport too. So
yeah, I had another thing in there. So you ended up choosing Concordia with the whole idea for the physical therapy, right?
That's right. I chose it. I got offered for football here, but I eventually just decided not to do football because I thought it'd be a little bit much. Because I'm doing the accelerated physical therapy program. So instead of 4 years, I get out in 3 years, which just means they kind of condense some classes into other years. Yes, that's right. Flex, big flex. So once I get out in 3 years, then I come here again for my grad program because that's kind of how they get you. So you get out a year early, but you have to attend grad school at Concordia. So that's kind of the academic aspect.
And that's okay. It sounds like you're liking it, Bernie. So why not, And with a long-term career goal, then let's hear it. So like 5 to 10 years, what's the goal?
I think in 5 to 10 years, I hope to have a job. I don't want to be a bum on the streets. So I hope to work somewhere. I wouldn't mind getting a job, around home, like Manitowoc area. There's another location. It's kind of up north. It's called Altoona. My cousin is a physical therapist up there, and the area is just beautiful up there. I'd love to work up in that region as well, but honestly, I'll take what I can get and I'll work wherever I can. So yeah, that's kind of my career goal.
Yeah, best of luck to you with that. But we got to talk about the schedule a little bit for Concordia's track before we call this an episode. So Friday, February 25th and Saturday, February 26th, they have the NACC Indoor Championships. That's at Ripon, Wisconsin. That's at 9 a.m. Bernie, will we see you in those at all?
I believe you will see me in those. On Saturday, I think we run around 3 o'clock or so in the afternoon. And I don't know how many make it to the Saturday if you qualify, but I know the Jacob, who I mentioned earlier, has an extremely good chance at making that. And if I do PR by enough, I could qualify, but it'll be very tough because I'm pretty sure hurdles are pretty competitive in our conference this year. So we'll see.
You're young, Bernie, so you got time, and you plan, just take it, one semester at a time here. But if you're liking it, why not run it back year 2, maybe even year 3? So hopefully we can see that. But
that's true.
Friday,
might as well run
March 4th and Saturday, March 5th. Also is it last chance meets? Is this like meets to make up, or what is this?
Drew, that is a great question that I don't know the answer to. I'm not going to lie. Some of the meets and stuff that's going on, I think they probably did a run through earlier this year, but I really don't know. I'm not going to lie. I kind of just go where the bus takes me.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I've been.
You're a couple weeks into it, I understand that, Bernie. It seemed like sometimes you were like that in high school, just kind of go with the flow kind of guy, and that's okay. But the national or the indoor championships then for NCAA Division III, that's in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. So that's a trip. And then also Myrtle Beach, you're going, that's spring break, Bernie. I know you said, right, you're not going to be partaking in those, right?
I don't think I can unless I somehow pay for it or like get in, but I doubt I'll be going to those. And then since I joined extremely late.
But April's outdoor season, right? Is that how this works? And you'll be partaking in that, right? At the hurdles outside?
110 hurdles. Maybe we'll toss in some 400-meter hurdles. We'll see how it goes.
Ooh, a little bit there.
400 meters. It's a long way. I'm not a big fan of running anything over 200 meters, but
rightfully so. It's a long. That's far. It's a quarter mile. I don't blame you. But this Saturday, April 2nd, that's at Carroll. So that's Wisconsin Private College Championships. And there's one in Whitewater Friday, April 8th. WLC Green and White Invite, April 23rd. And then the St. Norbert College Green Night Invite, that's April 30th. That's a Saturday as well. And then the Outdoor Championships for NACC, that conference is at Wisconsin Lutheran. So WLC as well. That's Friday, May 6th, Saturday, May 7th. And Bertie, are you looking forward to outdoor over indoor, or do you have a preference? Do you know if you have a preference?
I think I'd have to go with I don't know if I have a preference. Indoor's been pretty fun. I've never ran indoor before. It's been kind of cool. But I think outdoor, I'm a little bit more excited for, just because I like, the fresh air. I like to run outside, and it's just more than I'm used to. But I think I don't know, maybe I am looking forward to outdoor, but yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting, going from high school, not really having a lot of indoor meets. I know they usually try to do one at Ripon in high school, but again, you were in baseball, so not really sure. So, all right, Bernie, I wish you the best, academically and athletically, and go get some dubs. How about that?
I will try my best. I'll do anything to make my former center happy and proud.
Better do that, Bernie. So, yeah, thank you for coming on. It was fun, and Yeah, thank you all for listening to yet another episode of Jordan Drew, the Sports Crew, the perfect podcast for you.